Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing some more digital art. And I originally was going to do this traditionally. So I was gonna use watercolor and I was sketching this out on paper. But then I just had like a vision and I was like, oh my gosh, this would look so much better like digitally. So basically what I did was I took a photo of my sketch and I'm just kind of like tracing over that. So like I said before, I was originally gonna be doing something else. So I was just gonna draw like a normal girl with like a crop top and like jeans, and she was gonna have like sunflowers around her. But I changed my mind, so now we're gonna be doing a supervillain and she's gonna have like superpowers and stuff. It was a bit sad when I was sketching over this because I really liked the original face, and even though I am just tracing, you still can't like replicate that exactly. Also, while I was sketching this out, I kind of forgot to give her a forehead, so like right above her eyebrows is her hairline. So at first I was just gonna give her like any old shirt, but I changed my mind and I decided to go with this bodycon like suit. It was pretty fun coming up with like a design, and since I wanted to show some skin, I gave her like a boob cutout and also a cutout for her stomach to show off her abs. And I also added these like circles on her shoulders and these like sound wave length things like across her body. I don't know why I gave her like a bunch of like glowy designs because it probably doesn't like help her like blend in into the darkness, but it's fine because I think it looks cool. I gave her this gigantic belt. I guess it's supposed to be kind of like a utility belt, except I didn't add any tools or anything, so. And I also worked on the hands for quite a while. It was pretty hard to get the positioning right because I suck at drawing hands. And so I actually like took a couple photos of my own hands for like reference, and I also looked at a bunch of other pictures of hands. And you know how like when you say the same word like a bunch of times and it starts to sound weird? It was the same thing with hands. Like I kept looking at them and they started to look weirder and weirder. After quite some time, I managed to get them not terrible looking, and I also added very long like nails to make her look, I guess, more villainy. I also gave her like very long wavy hair. I really like how the hair turned out, just like the one thing about the hairline and how it started like way too low. Then after I finished sketching the hair, I started to color. And I didn't do any line art because for me this time the sketch was my line art. And while I was coloring the skin, I kind of decided to also color the line art. And by that I mean I created a clipping mask layer and then I just colored the line art like brown for the skin. This way it would look a lot softer and stuff. And if you didn't notice, I also gave this girl dimples. I literally cannot tell you how much I love dimples because I think that they're like literally so cute. A couple years back, I actually saw, I think it was like a Bright Side video, and it was about how to get dimples. And one of the ways was to like smile to like exercise your muscles, and then the other way was to like stick a pencil into your cheek for like 20 minutes. Yeah, I tried that and it really hurt. And it went away after like 2 minutes, so it wasn't worth it. Despite how much I love dimples and the way that they look, I usually don't draw them all that much because I'm not very good at drawing them. Like sometimes they just end up looking like wrinkles instead of like an indent. I think I did a pretty good job this time. I think it turned out pretty cute. I said this before in a previous video, but I just love drawing that like line down the middle of the stomach. Like it's so beautiful. Aside from that, after I finished with the skin and everything, I started to work on the suit. So I started off with gray, but then I gradually darkened everything, and I also made it kind of like a purplish black color. And like, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think that I did a pretty good job on making the suit look latexy. I think that doing the highlights with the soft brush made everything look a lot better. And when I was doing glowy stuff on this suit, it was kind of hard for me to draw like an oval that like looked good. So instead of doing that, I decided to erase that part of the suit and then color underneath it, if you know what I mean. And it was pretty fun playing around with the blending mode layers, and I used add a lot. So as you can see here, I'm basically erasing the parts of the suit, and then after I did that, I created a layer underneath the suit layers, and then I just colored. Anyhow, after I was satisfied with my results, I started to work on her hair. So, I was thinking of maybe doing like a very bright purple, but I kind of felt like since I was already putting purple on everything else, I would just go with a more simple color, so I went with brown. I did make the shadows a bit more red and a little bit more purple to go with everything else. I also made one part of her hair like shaven, and I think that looks pretty cool. That hairstyle was like pretty popular. And after I shaded everything very roughly, I also added a bunch of stray hairs, and I also gave her some bright purple highlights. After I finished with the hair, I moved on to the eyes, and obviously I made the eyes purple like everything else. Anyways, at that point, I kind of forgot about doing the belts, but then I realized last second, and I did it. Originally, I was gonna make it brown, but I felt like brown was kind of boring, so I decided to give her a green belt instead. And normally I hate the color combination of green and purple together. Like whenever I see those two, I'm just like, stop it, okay? You look like a Walmart version of Lex Luthor. And now whenever I look at you, I can only see like a shiny bald head. But that's because I just feel like purple and green together just makes you look like a tacky supervillain. But in this case, she is a tacky supervillain, so it's okay. Next, I worked on those like clusters of energy that she has in her hands. I'm not really sure what they do, like I never really thought about it. Like, I don't know, maybe they just like destroy stuff. And I didn't really think about lighting before this, so basically what I did was I just like airbrushed some like purple light on her. When I was done with that, I added some clouds, and I was kind of debating whether or not to keep them, because on one hand, like, I feel like it's kind of distracting, and then on the other hand, I just think they look really cool, and it makes her look like she's like standing there during a foggy night. So I played around with the colors and the opacity, and in the end, I decided to keep the clouds because I think it looks cool. And I also darkened up the edges a little bit so that the light balls in her hands would stand out a little bit more. Now that we're basically done with the video, I just want to say thank you to you guys for watching till the end. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell if you haven't already and you want to see more. Thank you all. I hope you guys have a good day.